The man who fell from the sky. The sky ripped open like fragile paper. A trail of fire and smoke tore through the clouds, shrieking above the treetops. Birds fled. Trees bent. Then, impact. The earth shook. Inside the burning wreckage, a man groaned. His name was Dax Carter, a pilot from Earth. 1 minute he was flying through deep space. The next, alarms blared, systems failed, and everything went black. Now, he was alone, stranded, on a world that wasn't Earth. Dax blinked open his eyes. Above him, a purple sky. 2 moons hovered like silent watchers. The air was sweet, but strange. His arm throbbed. His leg was trapped beneath metal. He forced himself out. Around him, towering trees shimmered with glowing leaves. It was beautiful, but something felt off. Too quiet, like the forest itself was watching him. He fiddled with his comm device. "Come on," he whispered. Dead screen. No signal. No help. As night fell, the forest changed. Lights flickered in the trees. Eyes, maybe? Whispered sounds drifted between the trunks. He lit a small fire, clutched a flare gun, and waited. Then, crunch. Footsteps. "Who's there?" he shouted. No reply. A stone flew from the dark and struck his fire, sending sparks flying. He jumped up, heart pounding. "I don't want trouble." Silence. He didn't sleep that night. When morning came, the forest looked almost magical. Birds chirped. The glowing trees sparkled. But something was wrong. His bag and emergency beacon were gone. "Someone's here," he muttered. He followed a narrow path through the trees. Giggles echoed behind him, vanishing when he turned. Then, movement, a shadow slipping behind a tree. Fast, too fast. Near a stream, he found the beacon, crushed. Suddenly, voices. Strange, melodic. Dax turned. 5 alien women stood watching him from the rocks. They were tall, elegant, their skin glowing faintly. Golden eyes, long hair like silk. Bones and soft fabrics wrapped their bodies, and spears in their hands. One stepped forward, silver-haired, marked face. She pointed at her chest. "Vera." Dax nodded slowly. "Dax. Dax," she repeated. Then she smiled, not friendly, curious, hungry. More women appeared, 10, 15, all silent, all staring like he was treasure or prey. One touched his face, another grabbed his arm and pulled, not hurting, but not letting go either. They led him to a secret valley, a village hidden by cliffs. Glowing plants, stone huts, flowing water. Peaceful, but something was off. There were no men, only women, dozens, all eyes fixed on him. They treated his wounds, fed him, gave him clean water, then locked him in a soft tent. Outside, 2 guards with spears stood watch. He wasn't a guest. He wasn't a prisoner. He was something else. That night, the flap of the tent opened. Vera, the silver-haired woman, entered silently. She looked at him for a long moment, then gently placed her hand on his chest. She whispered a single word. "Mate." Dax stared. "I think you don't understand." But she kept her hand there, golden eyes unblinking. Then she smiled, softly, knowingly, and left without another word. Outside, the village buzzed with whispers and stares. Women peeked at the tent, some with curiosity, some with longing. Dax tried to make sense of it. No men, no escape. They hadn't hurt him, but they hadn't let him go either. Then came Sorai, the quiet girl who had followed him in the woods. She slipped inside the tent, sat near the fire, and stared. She didn't speak his language, but she smiled when he said her name. Gently, she placed her hand over his. Before he could speak, a voice shouted from outside. She jumped and ran. The next morning, everything changed. They dressed Dax in fine clothes, gave him a necklace of polished stones, then brought him to the village square. There, a circle had been cleared. Dozens of women stood around it. A fire blazed in the center. Vera stood beside it, tall and calm. One by one, the women stepped forward. Each placed something in front of him: a knife, berries, a robe, a glowing stone. Each touched their chest and said their name: Nora, Ali, Tuma, and more. Then Vera stepped forward again and spoke in broken standard. "You choose." Dax froze. It wasn't a welcome. It was a ceremony, a ritual, a selection. They weren't offering him a home. They were offering themselves. He stepped back. "I'm not staying. I want to go home." Vera's expression hardened. "No home," she said. She pointed to the sky. "Sky is broken. No more ships." Dax's stomach turned. "That's not true. My people will come." "They don't come," she whispered. "We wait. We cry. We bury. Now, only we." And that's when it hit him. They didn't see him as a man. They saw him as the last man. A miracle. A future. He wasn't a guest. He was their hope. That night, Vera returned. She held a wooden bowl filled with a glowing liquid. "Drink," she said. Dax stared at it. "What is it?" She pointed to her chest. "Truth." Then to her head. "Dream." He didn't drink. Instead, he looked at her and asked softly, "Why me?" She didn't understand the words, but maybe she felt them. She touched her chest again. "We wait long. No sons. No husbands. Only you." Dax felt the air tighten around him. This wasn't rescue. This was expectation. The next morning, drums echoed across the village. Singing, dancing. Women painted their faces in red and gold. Trees were dressed with bones and ribbons. Vera arrived, wearing elegant clothes, her silver hair braided with feathers. "Today," she said, "you choose." "I told you, I can't stay," Dax insisted. "You already here," she smiled. "You are not prisoner, not free. You are gift." He stepped back. "You don't understand. I have people, a life." She placed her hand on his chest. "Now, we are people." The ritual began. The red moon rose. They called it the joining moon, a rare ceremony, one that hadn't happened in many years. The women formed a line, each presenting themselves with smiles, songs, gifts. None forced him, but the pressure was unbearable. Like every glance whispered, "Pick me, save us." He sat on a stone seat, numb, until one familiar figure approached. Sorai. She didn't smile. She didn't sing. Instead, she handed him a small bundle wrapped in cloth. Inside was his old earth patch, cleaned, stitched with care, surrounded by tiny flowers. She looked at him. "Your name, Dax." He nodded, stunned. "You kept this." Sorai smiled and stepped away. That night, Dax sat alone, trapped not in chains, but in kindness, in expectation. Then, quietly, Sorai entered again. She knelt beside him and whispered, "I help." Dax blinked. "Help?" She nodded. "You, not happy?" "No," he admitted. "I'm not." She reached into her pouch and pulled out a small glowing crystal. "This from Sky," she said. "Old ship. Shows path." His heart pounded. A tracker. Why are you helping me? He asked. She looked away. You kind. You not take. You not laugh. You good. Then she warned, if others know, they stop. At midnight, they slipped through the shadows of the village, through stone paths and hidden tunnels, guided by glowing moss. At the edge of a cliff, hidden behind a waterfall, they entered a cave full of old relics, bones, rusted tech, forgotten tools. There, Sorai pulled out a working beacon, dim, but still alive. This is all, she said. Dax took it, hands shaking. It might work. But then, a voice echoed from the cave's mouth. It was Vera. She had followed them. You take him? She asked Sorai, eyes burning. He is not tool, Sorai said bravely. He is man. He is free. Vera stepped forward. He is not free. He is future. Dax spoke, his voice firm. No, I'm just lost. Vera looked between them and lowered her staff. Then go, she said. But know this, others tried. The sky never comes. That night, under the twin moons, Dax and Sorai reached the edge of a vast shore. Rusting ship skeletons lay buried in sand and vines, reminders of other crashes long forgotten. And there, half buried, stood a satellite dish. Dax ran to it, digging frantically. Please work. He inserted the beacon crystal. It blinked, once, twice, signal sent. He exhaled. Someone might hear it. But then, footsteps. From the shadows came Vera. Behind her, 3 warriors with glowing spears. You left, she said. You stole hope. Sorai stepped forward. He is not ours to keep. You speak like stranger, Vera hissed. I speak for freedom. The warriors advanced. Dax grabbed a metal pipe. I don't want to fight, he warned. But they attacked. A brief, fierce struggle followed. Dax blocked a spear. Another slashed his arm. Sorai threw a rock, giving him a chance to escape. And then, a light from the sky. Everyone froze. A ship, an Earth ship, descended from the clouds, brilliant beams cutting through the night. A voice boomed from a speaker. Identify yourself. Dax shouted, Lieutenant Dax Carter, Earth Alliance. I'm alive. The ship landed. 2 humans in uniform rushed out, pulled him aboard. Dax turned to Sorai. Come with me. But she shook her head. This is not my sky. He grabbed her hand. You saved me. She smiled. That is enough. Vera stepped forward. You leave now, but the sky always takes. One day, it will take you too. Dax looked into her eyes. Maybe, but I'll remember who gave me a chance. The doors closed. The ship lifted off. Inside, a medic wrapped his wounds. You're lucky, he said. Minor burns, exhaustion. You'll be fine. But Dax said nothing. He stared out the window, watching the cliffs disappear below. In his hand, something glowed. Sorai had given him his Earth patch, but now her name was stitched beside it. Back on Earth, everything was too clean, too loud, too cold. Dax was flooded with questions. What planet was it? Were you harmed? Did they experiment on you? Did they breed with you? Dax clenched his jaw. No, they gave me food, shelter. They tried to keep me, but not like that. One officer leaned forward. Good. We don't want any mixing. News of his return spread fast. He was called a hero, a survivor, a symbol of strength. Headlines shouted, Alien tribe worshipped human pilot. He refused their demands. Dax shut the screen in disgust. They know nothing. Then came a secret meeting. Earth's military had a plan. "We're preparing a mission," said one general. "To help them?" Dax asked. "No, to cleanse. Their numbers are growing. They could be a threat." Dax stood, furious. "They are not a threat. They are survivors. Forgotten. Peaceful." "We don't take chances," the general replied coldly. Dax left the meeting in silence. That night, under the stars, he stared up at the sky, remembering Sorai, Vera, the glowing forests. "The sky always takes," Vera had said. "But maybe this time, it could give something back." 3 days later, a shuttle vanished from the Earth base. No logs, no trace. Only one man was missing, Lieutenant Dax Carter. Far across the stars, through fire and wind, a small ship entered the alien atmosphere once more. It touched down on the same rocky shore, where the broken satellite still lay, half buried. The ship's door opened. Dax stepped out. He still wore Earth clothes, but his heart belonged elsewhere now. He walked toward the cliffs, unsure if anyone would find him. But they did. From the trees, shadows emerged. Spears were raised, not to strike, but in caution. Then a soft voice broke the silence. "You returned." It was Sorai, older now, taller, but her eyes were the same. "You found the sky again," she whispered. He smiled. "No, I found home." She reached for his hand. "You stayed in my heart." He opened his bag and pulled out a small object. A solar seed, a gift from Earth, a way to grow food anywhere. "I didn't come empty-handed," he said. Behind them, the tribe gathered, quiet, watching. The man who fell from the sky had returned, not as a guest, not as a prisoner, but as family. Years later, the village grew. Crops thrived. Children played in glowing fields. Some had golden eyes. Some had freckles. Some had skin like dusk. Some like starlight. But all listened wide-eyed when the elder began his story. "Do you know the tale of the man who fell from the sky?" And they leaned in closer. He didn't come to conquer. He came broken and stayed whole. Dax now had silver in his beard. He stood with Sorai, watching the village from a high cliff. "You planted more than food," she said softly. He chuckled. "What else?" "Stories," she smiled. "And love." Below them, children chased each other across the fields. Some called him Dax, others, Starfather. He shook his head. "I'm just a man." Sorai leaned into him. "To us, you're more than that." Then, one day, a ship appeared in the sky. Earth had returned, not to rescue, but to claim. "This world belongs to Earth now," the officer said. "Step aside." Dax stood firm. "I'm not leaving, and neither are they. You're just one man." Dax smiled. "Not anymore." The whole tribe stepped forward behind him, Sorai holding their child, warriors and healers, young and old. The officer hesitated, then turned away. They never came back. The legend lives on. Years passed. New tribes came, seeking peace, seeking stories. And in the heart of the village stood a statue of a man and a woman, hand in hand. At its base, carved in 3 languages. He came from the stars, but chose to stay where hearts were warm. One night, by the fire, children gathered around Dax once more. "Tell us again," they said. "Why did you come here?" He smiled. "I didn't come here. I fell." They laughed. "And why did you stay?" He glanced at Sorai, weaving beside their daughter, and said softly, "Because someone caught me." And under the same stars Earth still watched, believing he was lost. Dax Carter was never lost again. The end.